Hey everyone, welcome. You know we're gonna have a good time. All right. Welcome to Freestyle Friday. We are going to have a good time today, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Listen, I appreciate the fact that you guys took the time this week to send me lots of communication, tell me things that you want to hear about. It makes it so much easier. I was like, oh, I'm so bored if I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about. So jump in your virtual seats, go ahead and turn the mics to you and start typing comments, questions, thoughts, any other things that you still want to talk about today that maybe you didn't get a chance to text me or inbox me. But we're going to go ahead and kick today's show off, the Kim Jacobs Show. And let me let you guys know and I'll let you know again later in the broadcast. On Monday, I will be taking that one day off to just, and relax and enjoy with my family. So on Tuesday, I'll be back with a guest, and her name is Dr. Jessica Mosley. She'll be my guest on Tuesday, September 8th. But Monday, since you have that one day off from the show, take that day to flood your social media and let people know, hey, don't we miss Kim Jacobs today? So let's go ahead and subscribe to her YouTube channel and turn on notifications. That's the one day you can go ahead and just say, hey, everybody, let's surprise Kim. We're going to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show on YouTube. All right, Labor Day weekend is coming up, so we know that. And as we prepare for this weekend, let's talk about it for a minute. Are you guys going to be going places? Are you visiting family, friends? Are you staying in? What are you going to be doing for Labor Day? Are you going to be wearing your mask, or are you really going to be like, you know what, I'm comfortable. I'll just go ahead and socialize and enjoy myself with my family and friends. And sometimes that mask makes me hot, so I'm just going to take it off and expose myself. Let's talk about that. What are your theories and thoughts pertaining to Labor Day coming up? And not just Labor Day, but holidays that are coming up in the near future anyway. Do you think that we should still honor social distancing and wear our mask and limit our gatherings as far as in large numbers? Or do you think it's okay to just kind of let your guard down? And if so, I'm sure you're not going to type that. I'm sure nobody's going to type, yes, I believe in letting my guard down. So anyway, I also want to know too, what are some good recipes? Please, let me put that in the comment section here. Share some good things that you're going to be cooking on Labor Day. Share your recipes, because I was actually looking at HLN, the Morning Express earlier today, and they had one lady was on and she was cooking some type of grilled chicken, and she had put some ginger and some minced garlic, and she put a little bit of rice vinegar and some soy sauce. I was like, oh my goodness, she grilled some tomatoes and some other stuff. I was like, this is incredible. So share your recipes for Labor Day, please, because I would love to see them come in the comment section. I definitely will go back and take a look at them and see what you guys are planning to cook up for Labor Day. Whatever you're cooking up, whatever you're doing, make sure that you honor the policies of remaining socially distanced, wear your mask, and try not to congregate in large numbers. That's very important. But I'm still going to just kind of stay home and be with my family. And I'm big on, we can have the best time possible, even if it's not a lot of people. We just make fun. And whether it's playing board games or cooking or telling stories, looking at photo albums, whatever, to just enjoy good quality family time. So make sure you chime in on what you guys are going to be doing. I haven't seen anybody type any comments yet, but chime in on what you're going to be doing for Labor Day. Let's say what? I'll type that right quick. What are your Labor Day plans? The question, in case you're just joining in and you're like, God, what are they? Oh my goodness, what are they talking about? I don't like to use God's name in vain, but anyway, what are they talking about? We're talking right now about what are your plans for Labor Day? How do you plan on honoring what's happening with coronavirus and making sure that we stay socially distanced? So let's go on to some politics right quick. Get that out of the way, because people have typed in and said, hey, Kim. Hey, Phyllis Ewell, how are you? So glad. If I see your comments, I'll go ahead and pop them up here on Freestyle Friday. Today on the Kim Jacobs Show, we are talking about topics that you want to talk about, what matters to you, what's important to you, some things that you guys have sent in and said, hey, I want to make sure that I tell Kim what I want shared on the show. So it's all about my guests. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? And Shannon, thank you. I can see you backstage. Thank you so much for joining in. And I appreciate you. I know I sent you the link a little late because you're right there, Johnny, on the spot. So thank you so much. And let me know by thumbs up or comment if you want to pop into the actual show, and I'll pull you right in. Okay. And okay. Let me say this too, for all of you that are joining right quick, that there might be a guest that comes on today that's having a situation, and I'm not exactly sure if he's going to come on or not, but I will let you know that he has a serious need. And he has a very serious need, and he's facing eviction. And so I want to make sure that if there's anyone watching this broadcast today, especially with it being Freestyle Friday, that you please let me know if it's something that you might be able to help this person with, and as him and his family are facing eviction. And I will definitely make sure that whatever you send and that's designated for him and his family, if you send it to Kim Jacobs Inc., # Kim Jacobs Inc., and if you could type that in, Shannon, too, I'd appreciate it, and say eviction beside it, then I will make sure that those specific funds go to help that family that's facing an eviction. So many times we have people that are all around the world and they are experiencing hardship. But then we also have some people right here in the United States that are facing hardship as well, evictions and things of that nature. And I want to make sure that we give people assistance as best we can. And I don't have any kind of major funds or anything, but whatever people do give, I will give all of those funds directly to that particular situation. So keep that in mind. Sean, I can see you backstage, but I can't see your face. So let me know if type in a private chat if you are not showing your face or something, because when I pull you up, it's interesting when it's just no face. Okay. Good morning to you, Andrea Belk. How are you? And glad to have you on today's episode. So right now we're going to tackle a few things on politics. I had someone send me this comment. And so I'm just going to read what I've already received from you guys, which is Melania Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, in 2016, during the RNC Republican National Convention speech. It was very similar to one that was given by Michelle Obama in 2008. And this surfaced again after Stephanie Wolkoff published Melania and Me, which is a memoir between her and her friend that came out that she published on Tuesday. And so that kind of resurfaced everything that's been going on back with that speech that took place that was very similar to, we know, First Lady at the time, Michelle Obama. And so she said this memoir focuses on her and her friendship. And she thinks ultimately it's alleged that they felt someone tried to sabotage First Lady Trump. So, you know, what can you do about it? If you're purchasing your materials and your speeches and things from different people, then there's a chance that people can dupe you or do some pretty foul things. So that's happening in different regards. And so keep that in mind. Let me go to the private chat. I see some people. Okay. So I'm just going to pull my friend Sean in for a second here, and she's driving, so she's not going to be able to show her face right now. Let me see before I pull her in. Andrea, you said you're planning on just relaxing at home with weekend and cooking on the grill. Girl, you found a spinach dip recipe that I'm excited to try. We don't want to hear. I want you to type that spinach dip recipe right in the comment section, because I know I'm going to try it too. I love spinach, and let me know early so I can know what to go and grab from the grocery store. I don't like to shop throughout the entire weekend. So let me know, do I need to get fresh baby spinach? I need to know this stuff, Yes. Huh? Take your time. Oh, I will take my time. Tiny bummer. I will take my time. I'm just going to relax. Okay. Sean, I'm bringing you in. Hey, Sean, how are you?
I am on the fly, so bear with me, but I wanted to jump on this Freestyle Friday because there's a lot to share with your freestylers.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you too, Tynese, for being on here today. Andrea and Phyllis, thank you guys, and continue to chime in. Go ahead, Sean. What you want to talk about?
You know I'm going straight to Melania Trump.
Oh,
Listen, Stephanie Wyckoff, your friend. Woo! With friends like that, baby, you don't need enemies. What? You don't need enemies. But what I will
yeah.
say is, even in that, she tried to help her friend dodge a bullet. No. Listen, at the level that they are playing on, it is impossible that you paid for that speech and it wasn't vetted. But here's what it says to me. What it says is that you thought that your base with majority white men, older white men, would not recognize those very profound words spoken by our forever FLOTUS. That's what you thought. That's just the truth of it. You didn't think that anybody would recognize game, but lo and behold, it was a little black man who was out of work, who was listening and said, wait a minute, my spidey senses are going up. It seems like I've heard these words before. And a Google search revealed that no, it wasn't something similar. Baby, it was the whole cheat sheet. Those were her words. And what it reminded me of is the get over from high school, like what I see with some students now. And here's what they do when they say that, you can't cheat. What students do is instead of starting the sentence with, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, they'll say the times were the worst. It's still plagiarism, okay? Even though it wasn't verbatim. In her case, a lot of it was. It was.
Well, that's what I was going to say. No, because there's like plagiarism software, Sean, too, that I know at one time I had my son check something I was writing. And I said, well, read over it, tell me your thoughts and give me your feedback. He went and dropped it in some plagiarism software. I was like, what? I didn't ask you to do that. He said, well, this is the best way to know, Mom. And anyway, I ended up getting like a 89 or something on my score. So I had to go back and make adjustments and stuff. But I am big on not using the exact wording of other people. But then sometimes when you're doing research, I always like to reference where my source came from. Then that way it's just simple.
And true, Melania could have done the same thing, but you wouldn't do that for a woman whose home you lived in or you were preparing yourself to live in, and yet you refused to move in because you didn't want to use the same toilet that she used. What?
Wow.
What? So I don't feel bad.
Okay.
There's no
Wow.
sympathy there.
That's
There's no
really
sympathy.
deep. No sympathy. No sympathy from Sean regarding the whole First Lady Melania Trump speech and it being alleged that it was plagiarized and actually documented.
Yeah, that's no allegation.
It's no allegation. It was documented head
Yes.
to head. That this is what was said. This is what was said in 2008. This is what was said in 2016. And it was back and forth and very, very similar wording, of course, obviously. So now another person here's the type that I feel that she totally stole the speech. And so that's another view that's expressed as well. Let's go to some of the other audience comments. Oh, you put Andrea Bell put the whole recipe up here for the spinach dip that she's making on Labor Day. So there you guys have it. If you want to try this recipe out, it's 8 ounces. I'm gonna mute your mic for a second, Sean. It's 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened 1 cup sour cream, 10 ounces fresh spinach. Okay, so here you go right there. Make sure you check that recipe out for a nice Labor Day dip. And thank you so much, Andrea Belk, for sharing. Oh, wait, she says steam or saute the spinach. Okay, she put the whole thing, which is perfect. So I am going to personally go back and check that out later because I'm going to be doing that. Thank you so much, Andrea. Anybody else want to put some Labor Day recipes, something that you're going to be doing over Labor Day to grill out, or any of those recipes? Pop them in the comment section. Sean, you have some more stuff you want to say?
Well, let's see. There's been so much happening, but yes, for those voters who, staying on the topic of politics, for those voters who reside in North Carolina, you heard the occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Say it again. Hello? Okay, so it blinked out, Sean. When you come back on, I'll just I'm going to remove you, but when you come back on, I'll hear you. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. Laugh out loud. I don't know if you wanted it here or in your inbox. No, this is perfect, Andrea. Put it right here so everybody can benefit from it. Shannon, type the views that are expressed by people are not necessarily the views of the show. That's what I'm trying to get. Okay. Also, 2 months before election, we know that on Tuesday, President Trump visited Kenosha, Wisconsin. He didn't meet with the Jacob Blake family. He did meet with some of the police officers and the staff to determine what are some methods that can be put in place and what's going well, what needs to change and stuff like that. So that's something that happened. Presidential candidate Joe Biden did also go to Kenosha, Wisconsin. And on Thursday, that was Thursday afternoon, when he got there, he met with Jacob Blake's family. And he also spoke directly with Jacob Blake over the phone. And attorney Benjamin Crump stated that it was very inspiring conversation. He said that Jacob Blake said that he would not give up under any circumstances. Sean, I see you back. Hey, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Good. You look cute.
Thank you.
Your red glasses and your red necklace. You everything. You everything. Yes, Lord. Okay, go ahead. What you want to say, Sean? And also, before you say that, Sean, type in your thoughts. What do you feel about the two? Obviously, the President of the United States, President Trump, going to Kenosha, all of the social unrest and violence that's been taking place there. And we know that Jacob Blake is a young man that was shot 7 times in the back by a police officer. And we also got to see some other video footage where there was some resistance and things happening. But at the end of the day, he was shot 7 times in his back. So what are your thoughts on that as my studio audience? I'd love for you to give some feedback on whether you think maybe the president should have met with the Blake family, or no, it was fine because he's the president. He can do whatever he wants to do when he goes to a different area. Let me hear your thoughts on that. And then again, what are your thoughts about presidential candidate Joe Biden actually meeting with the Blake family and taking the time to talk to Jacob Blake himself? So chime in on that. Go ahead, Sean. Look at your face.
I'm going to give a disclaimer. I'm out in the wilderness. I was attempting to go to the library. So studio audience, this is real life happening. I am so sorry for any distraction, but I wanted to be like Jacob Blake and say nothing is going to hold me back from being where I'm supposed to be. So I'm here.
That's good. Okay? Thank you so much.
Here's the thing, and I want to address what you just asked. Should the president have met with Jacob Blake? I think that this particular president and the ire he has stoked with his words, with his actions, it would have read as untrue. It would not have been him being authentic. And what's unfortunate is I personally believe that you have to give people the grace to grow.
That's right.
But also in doing so, people have to accept that grace and extend it to others. This president refuses. This president refuses to elevate to the next level, to see himself as a bridge over troubled waters. It's hard to be a bridge over troubled waters when you have stirred the waters and troubled them. It's difficult to do that. Should he have met with Jacob Blake? He should have made an attempt at the very least to contact the young man to see if he could at least talk with him and let him know that I am bringing to bear the full resources of the federal government to get to the bottom of this. But he couldn't do that. Wouldn't do that because his base was looking at this. If you're a law and order person, and really to say law and order, that's a dog whistle because you're not keeping the law.
Uh-oh. Okay, Sean will be back, I'm sure. So, so share your thoughts as well as to, I see someone typed a comment, he's a coward. Or, again, all of the views expressed on this show are views that are expressed by the individuals, not necessarily that of the show. Can you type that, Shannon, for me? Because I want to make sure I put that up, especially on Freestyle Friday. That'll help me a lot. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was an article in the Atlantic that was a big thing about, that with some things that supposedly President Trump had said, and I also saw in the Business Insider as well, let me put that up there for you, that the views expressed by the guests on the Kim Jacobs Show do not always reflect the show itself. So make sure you guys know that. And Sean, I'm putting you back up. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. People keep calling me.
Oh, that's okay. You come back in as much as you want.
I feel like be a human being. Forget being president. Forget being a public official. Be human. And it costs you nothing to say, hi, this is the president of the United States. I'm calling to check on you. I want you to know that I am committed to getting to the bottom of what happened. Period. You ain't got to make no other promises. You ain't got to say no stuff that you don't really believe in. That's not going to cost you with your base to say that you met or you talked to the black man who was shot in the back by the police. And even if you say that Jacob Blake, this is what I think the state AG said, that he admitted to having a gun in his possession. Let's break that down. Mm-hmm. We both were watching. All of us were watching.
The whole world.
You didn't have a gun in your hand. In my possession means in my car right now, in my possession, I got a soda. I got a purse. Is it on my person right now? That's a difference. And words do matter. You know I believe in that. So when you say that he admitted to having a gun in his possession, you know you're playing with the words because he didn't have a gun in his hands. I'm sorry, not a gun. He didn't have a knife in his hands at all.
Right.
He had one in his car. But did you see the
knife? We don't even know. We don't even know if he really had one in his car because that has that been revealed yet either?
Yes.
Okay. So that has been said.
The AG said that Jacob Blake, and I don't know when. I mean, because let's talk about it. You were shot in the back 7 times. You were in a medically induced coma as they had you under surgery, and you came out of it. And the first thing that happened is we started talking about, did I have a knife in the car? Get out my face. Get out my face.
The only thing I could see on the video was the fact that he was holding his pants up, which, I mean, he was, as he was trying to walk to the car, his pants were kind of sliding down. So I saw him pulling or tugging on his pants, not digging or reaching for anything. He was trying, it looked like, again, who am I? I'm Kim Jacobs, the host of a show, just share my personal opinion, which is just that it looked like he was going to get towards his kids. So because he has children in the car and he was trying to make sure, oh my gosh, my kids are in the car. So all of this is popping off. And I was not expecting this, but my children are in the car. So that's what I saw.
Even if he did have a knife in his car, so what? My oldest daughter used to have a pocket knife in her car all the time. Now people say, oh my God, why? Stop. Don't act like you're just so over the top and you can't understand why people do it. For her profession, which being in film and being a crew person, she had it because it was also a multi-tool. So at any time it was pliers, it was a screwdriver, it was any of those things. Oh yes, and it had a knife attachment too. But no one's going to give you all of those details when you're trying to put a certain spin on it. So I'm willing to bet that there's a large population of the United States that have knives in their car. I'm not talking about machetes. I'm not talking about a 20-inch blade. I'm talking about a small knife. But if you don't get clarity, if you don't ask the right questions, then you don't know the answers. And I think it's ignorant of people to just accept everything when we see, and I'm sorry that police don't always tell the truth. And I think with that, we're trying to say, well, Blue Lives Matter. Let me just correct you. Never have I ever seen anyone who was blue. If they're blue, they're dead. Okay? Right. So it's not that Blue Lives Matter. It's a profession. It's a profession that people choose. Nobody's forcing anybody to be a police officer. Nobody's forcing you to be a talk show host. You're in your profession because you have chosen to be. And at the moment you feel that this is no longer the profession for you, that you can't do it with integrity, that you can't do it to protect and serve, get out. Because people's lives are at stake.
Hey guys, make sure you all chime in on what's being shared from Sean. If you have any thoughts on it, what are your thoughts pertaining to Blue Lives Matter? What are your thoughts pertaining to All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter? What are your thoughts pertaining to police that are shooting people that are unarmed? Some of these people are not with a weapon on there being pointed at the individual at the time. Is there a way that the police could possibly subdue them differently? Then let's talk about the incident. I don't know. Let me go to that because somebody had said about that too, about the young man. But I like to read exactly, so I'm not saying anything other than what the real situation is. Okay, So we see that on March 30th, a young man died, and that was a week after an incident that took place in Rochester, New York. There's all kind of video footage out right now. Shannon, I don't know if you want to put the link or anything in where it's all of the stories that have been shared over all of the major outlets, but this young man, Daniel Prude, was pronounced dead a week after he arrived to the hospital. He was actually pronounced brain dead upon being transported to the hospital. He's 41 years old, and what happened, according to what I've been able to research, is that the police, he was naked. His brother had called. I don't know if you know about this story or not, Sean, but his brother. Okay, yeah. So his brother had called and had said, "Hey, my brother is having a situation here. He's naked. He ran out of the house. He has a mental something happening because he had some kind of blunt that had been laced with PCP that he was smoking." So his brother was like, "Oh my gosh, my brother is having an incident here." Situation where any of us would call the police and say, I need some immediate help. My brother is acting out of character, an acute situation, something's happening. Bring in the cavalry, help me, but not bring in the cavalry and kill my brother. That's not what I think he was calling for, right?
I'm not frozen.
But the mayor, I mean, here's the thing. The Mayor Lovely Warren said that she ordered all 7 officers to be suspended in the incident because she was misled. So when she was originally being shared with the information, she was under one impression because the incident happened on March 23rd, but she didn't know all of the details at the level that she did once the body cam was actually released. So chime in, everybody. Let's talk about it. What do you think? Should the police have been called? Should we call a mental health expert to deal with mental health crises? It's a lot of questions that run through my mind when it comes to stuff like this. Tell me your thoughts, Sean, and tell me your thoughts, audience.
So I'll start at the top. Congratulations to the mayor. Thank you for standing up in this day and age as a Black woman who is in leadership. It is not difficult to take a stance against the police because there is a blue wall that should not be there. This is not a gang. It should not be a sanctioned gang where you do something and everybody clams up. Don't talk to me about people in the hood not snitching. Y'all don't either. So that's number one. Number two, she was right to suspend them. And as I listened to the press conference, she said some very important words. She was suspending the 7 police officers involved against the Council of Legal.
Right.
Against her legal counsel. So they said,
Right.
Mayor, don't do this. And she said, You know why? Because there was no trust. Because what they told her was this guy died in custody of an overdose. No, you all could not have even known that because there was no toxicology report that was done that quickly. There was no autopsy done that quickly. So you were lying, Chief of Police. You were lying to cover up your people. And when you do that with Black people, with any people, there's a mistrust with Black people. I don't know about what white people do. Maybe you give them another chance because you feel like these are the guys who protect us and serve, but that's not how it is in our community. And you asked the question, Kim, should we call the police? My answer, people may not like it, that's okay. I think that when you call the police in any situation for Black people, understand that this could result in a death sentence, and you have to live with that. You have to feel good about what you're doing, knowing that if I'm in an altercation with my husband and I call the police because I asked him to leave and he won't leave, and I call the police, that they could kill him. You don't have to say, oh, that may not happen, baby. Watch the TV. Watch the videos. It happens. This is not new. That man was naked, butt naked in the street. So you know he didn't have a weapon because you didn't.
He didn't have a weapon. He didn't have a weapon. He did spit. And because, but let me say, because of the fact that Corona, I'm only saying what I've heard. I'm not sharing an opinion one way or the other regarding that. But what I am saying is that with us being in the height of coronavirus and you start spitting, then there's something that they can put over your head, which they said was still mesh material so he could still breathe. This is what was said on the news only is what I'm saying. This is what was on CNN. They said he put the mesh covering over his head and he could still breathe, blah, blah, blah. But it started making him frantic. So he was like, you know what? Give me the gun. Give me the gun. He started going in.
Here it is. The police officers are trained, right? And it's not an extensive training. I think the questions that we need to ask ourselves and ask as citizens is, what does that training consist of? And yes, we have the right to ask for that information. Why? Because our tax dollars pay
We
for
pay
it.
for it,
And
right?
so they don't have training in de-escalation with people who are having an episodic break, that they
Mhm.
have mental issues. They don't know how to deal with it when they are Black. Now, somebody could say, oh, that's inflammatory, Sean. You're wrong. This could have happened in any situation. No. Let me point your attention to a case that happened, I believe it was in 2019, and it was with an 18-year-old white man in North Carolina who killed his mother, his sister, and his nephew who was an infant. Then he ran out of the house, stark naked, and he ran around, and there was a police officer right there pointing a gun at him, and he jumped on that man and he hit him in his head, and that weapon did not get fired one time. That police officer did not throw him to the ground and subdue him at any point in time. What
Right.
was the difference, one might say? Well, let's think about it. Age? Okay, yes. And so if we say age, that young man was 18. The man that we're talking about is 41. So the 18-year-old man could have been a lot stronger. Y'all, let's not be naive. It was the fact that he was white. And I believe that when you see these incidents with white police officers dealing with white people, they feel like, okay, guys, this is mano a mano. You know, I can take you on and we can see if we can win here and we can reason. And you give them every opportunity in the world. However, there was a tweet put out by a sitting congressman. I can't remember if he was state or U.S. senator, but he goes by Captain Somebody.
Mhm.
And he was threatening people and saying, if you come to our state, if you come to our neighborhood, we're going to meet you with force. And I've been in SWAT. And I'm just telling you that we don't want you here, Black or white, with your aggressive nature and your threatening presence. Those are his words verbatim. And I picked that apart and said, that's it. That's it. It is the fact that our mere presence is a threat to you, to your existence.
Okay,
But
but
why?
let's we're gonna talk about that. Let's talk about that. But let me get my question from a studio audience member. Justine Hilliard said, "Right, they murdered that man. They need to have something in place for those that have mental health problems." So you've said a lot of things, Sean. A couple of things. One is that when it comes to mental health issues, domestic violence issues, like you said, people call the police because that's the thing that you do because you're in a acute crisis situation. It's like 911. That's what it's supposed to be for, to serve and to protect. And so it's normal for people to call in that situation. But when the police arrive and they see something that's like, whoa, this is popping off at a different level, then I don't know their training. That's why I was going to tell you too. I recommend that you guys watch the video. And Shannon, if you could find that on my YouTube channel, Sheriff McFadden, he actually did a video talking about the rights of citizens and what we can do, and he did a good job of breaking some things down. And so I want to make sure that I put that link in there for you guys to go back and watch that particular video. My question is, Sean, and this is to everyone: should people that are out protesting be looting and being violent and attacking people, carrying machetes and cutting people and breaking windows and stuff? To me, that's not peaceful protesting. But so that's violence and that's crime. And so that's, again, my own personal, but that's my personal opinion. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? Should people
Right.
be doing
Listen,
stuff like that?
a peaceful protest is a pushback against the current status quo. And people do that by marching. They've done it with peace. Here's what I want people to understand. Please, for the love of the Lord Jesus, stop acting like Black people are the only ones who loot, who have
Oh no,
protested.
it's
No,
anybody,
I
right?
want to say it because there are some cold words, not saying that you're throwing them out, but people are throwing them out, that these protesters are agitators, they're instigators, they're outsiders. Listen, what happens in one state affects people in other states.
Around the
And
world.
so we're all connected.
Yeah.
And so the first riot that we can recall that was also instigated with some violence was the Boston Tea Party. Y'all want to talk about it? Talk about your history, where there was property destroyed by Americans who did not want to be ruled by the British. And so they went there and they set it off. And the first murder that occurred, guess what? It was a
What?
black man. Go research it. Go
Right.
research it. So when we're talking about these protests turning violent and we're talking about looters, people who are doing it, they're taking it out of the pages of history, and they're
I
saying that
understand.
this is what you do. And so when we talk about violence, the police should not be, just because people are out there and you don't want them to be out there, that does not mean that you militarize and you start pushing back. And I think there's a subconscious thing going on that nobody's talking about. When you come in riot gear and you have machine guns, why do you need to have a machine gun that can pump out 1,400 and 200, 1,400 bullets in a minute? Why?
No, yeah, right. But right, I agree. I agree with the fact that to have that level of force on something that is supposed to be a peaceful way for people to share their views, express what they're experiencing with what's happening in our society. People have the right to have freedom of speech and the freedom to express themselves. But when it goes, and not they meaning anybody. Any nationality, when it starts becoming a violent situation, then what should happen? Somebody tell me what you think should happen as a citizen.
Well, let's talk about that, because here's what has occurred. Many times when you have these protests, especially when it involves the killing, the maiming, the harming of a Black person, people in that area rise up in that neighborhood because quickly police are mobilized and they contain it to that area. So people are expressing their outrage the best way they can with property. But if you are a lawyer, and we talk about, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Castle Doctrine, which puts life above all. You're there to protect and serve, but not just to maintain the property, which people should not be destroying. Yet if I did throw a brick at this building or I broke a glass, that does not mean I deserve to have my life taken. And when you are Black, that is what happens. If you want to talk about it, in Milwaukee at the auto shop that was destroyed, 3 white people were arrested. Right? They didn't look like us. Let's talk about that in the national news media. Let's get that out there, that what happens is white people are coming and co-opting the protest, and you're making it violent. You're coming in wearing full black and carrying an umbrella. For what? It ain't raining. But you're doing that so that your identity can be concealed while you wreak mayhem in a community that is not yours, but yet those people will get the blame for it. No different than what happened at the Wendy's. The person who set the Wendy's on fire was a white woman. And they said, well, she didn't mean to do it. How, Sway? How didn't you mean to set
Sway?
Y'all tell Kim who Sway is. Lord Jesus. I can't teach the culture today.
Okay.
Listen, this white woman set the Wendy's on fire, and we've not heard anything more about it. But the Black man who was having over an hour dialogue with the police, and he was asleep, ended up being dead. So I don't want to hear people say, stop with the identity politics. Race doesn't matter. If race doesn't matter, stop killing Black people. If race doesn't matter, then I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Talk to me when there are some white bodies in the street because of the exact same thing that's happening. No, and listen to what I'm saying. I'm not advocating violence, Kim. What I said, and I'm going to say it again so people can hear clearly. Talk to me when that happens to see if the sentiment is the same. And I can assure you that it won't be. It won't be the same. People will not stand for it. How do I know? Look at what happened in California in the 1960s when California was an open carry state. You could carry a firearm openly, and the Black Panthers came and they decided that they were going to protect Black people, and they were armed and they were packing. It took less than 60 days for the California state legislature to pass a law and say no open carry.
Well, okay.
Tell me that can't be done?
You're saying a lot. You're saying a lot. You're saying a whole lot. Okay. And so, and all of it is important because it's built up frustration that it's like, you know what? Enough is enough. You don't want the police to come to an environment and somebody Black ends up losing their life. I understand what you're saying. That's not obviously that we don't want that to happen ever. So can we just find a solution? And this is to police and leaders and authority, that we can find a solution that people can get arrested if they have to get arrested or tased or whatever, but their life not be taken from. Why does it have to be that their life is stripped from them versus maybe hitting it in the leg or in the shoulder, just some other body part that doesn't take a person's life? I'm not in law enforcement and I'm not an authority in that area, but I do have just good common sense, and good common sense says that there's a way to subdue somebody that does not require their lives to be taken. That's what I observe.
There's already an answer in place, Kim. There's already an answer. There's not a solution that has to be found, because at any time when you look at white men, white women being arrested, they live. Look at the man.
And not in all instances, but I mean, because there are lots of instances, and you can go back and research as well, which I know you're good at researching that. And there are instances that white people have died as well.
Listen,
but in the ones that have made the news,
the visceral reaction when it's Black people, an overwhelming majority of the time, and I hesitate to give a statistic because I don't have the research to back it up.
Right.
But when I look at so many of these situations, white people walk away. There was one that happened with a white man, young white man. It was reported by the hotel that he had a gun in there. He did. It was a soft pellet gun, so it wasn't a weapon, if you will.
Right.
And they told him, and that officer was wrong because he was wanting to shoot the man. Instead of, you saw that the man was afraid. You're asking him to crawl across the floor. But what you also did is say, don't give me a reason to shoot you. If you move, I will shoot you. But you want him to keep moving. Anybody's instinct, if your pants are coming down, is to cover your butt. You realize that. You know, you're there. You're the trained professional. There are lots of things that you could have done without killing that man. So that's the incident that I recall of an 18-year-old white man being shot and killed by the police.
Right.
That comes to my mind quickly. There are too many others that I have seen, however, with white men in particular up in police officers' faces, yelling, screaming, cursing at them, you know, throwing their license on the ground. And nothing happened. But when it's a Black,
oh yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of videos out where, I mean, I've watched probably about a minimum of 100 different videos where the people are like, I don't have to give you, I mean, and these are white males that are saying they have these video YouTube channels, and they're literally giving the police officers the business. You go back into your office, officer. You don't tell me anything. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm like, then that right there would not be tolerated.
Because that would get us death. When they talk about, when Sharon McFadden talks about the rights of citizens, here's the awful truth that no one wants to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it.
And when you make this comment, I want to go to a couple more of my, because people are typing in stuff, and I want to make sure we address theirs. And you can actually chime in on the answers, but I want to get their comments in. Go ahead.
I will just say this. It feels like in these United States of America, Black people do not have rights. Without saying it, it feels like we have been transported back in time to slavery. And you do not have the right to assert your freedom because it can cost you everything.
And that is very unfortunate, because that is what most Black families are teaching their children at this point, is make sure you do everything that the law is telling you to do. If they tell you to raise your hand, raise your hand. But then even in spite of us telling our families to do what's the law-abiding thing to do, which is to follow the law and abide by that person, that and honor what the person is saying that has authority over you, anything, depending upon what's happening in that person's mind, they may be having a mental crisis that day, the person in authority. We don't know what triggers a person to act out of character. Maybe some of this stuff is out of character for some of the police officers that's doing this. I don't know, but I can tell you what, if somebody ends up dead that's Black at the end of the day, and this is just my personal opinion, then that was like, it was very unnecessary. It was very unnecessary. Because they could have still been
subdued. Out of character, though, Kim. You had the incident in Wilmington, North Carolina. North Carolina is our home state. So in Wilmington, with a 30-year veteran on the force, and they were just talking to each other casually, but it was caught. And somebody was doing their audit of audios, and they were saying, yeah, it's about to be a race riot, and I can't wait to shoot some niggas. I can't wait.
Hey, wait. Okay, I heard that as well, and well, you got me over here, so it sounds like I'm talking in tongues, Sean, on my show, and then you're gonna get silent and start blinking your eyes. Okay, Sean, Let's go to some studio audience comments because John is about to go in. So instead of holding him down, Justine said on the ground, which she's talking about Daniel Food. All they had to do is put him in police car. They had other options. They just were mean, and that's her opinion as well. She said, of course not. It says peaceful, but there are others out there trying to make Black people look bad, and of course, you will have white people and Blacks taking advantage of the situation. And again, people take advantage of the situations. It's not just Black or white, but if people do take, when people are given a window of opportunity, it's like, oh, this is a good way for me to go ahead and cause some additional controversy or problems. So, and that's very unfortunate. Very. Yes, she did. Okay, let's see. Talk, sis. Go ahead, Sean. Talk, sis. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Yes, Valerie Dixon said, it does feel like Black people's rights are very different than white people's. So, wow.
That is heartbreaking because, we didn't come to this country on a cruise liner. It was not our choice, our ancestors. And I get very incensed when people say that happened so long ago. But the mindset is what prevails and is pervasive and is passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so when we say, well, what can we do? Don't tell me to sit down and have a conversation with my Black daughters or my Black son about how to handle law enforcement. I want white people to start having conversations with their friends of how to interact with Black people. I want that to happen.
And I've had some white male guests come on, and they've had, I can tell, Joel Johnson, for example, he came on and he said he's had some pretty difficult discussions with his friends. And when I interviewed him, he was on a panel of different pastors and clergy that came on, and it was some pretty profound takeaways from the things that they've had as discussions with their friends and their family. So a lot of the videos and things that we're talking about right now, I have interviewed a wide variety of guests on those topics. So make sure you go back to my YouTube channel, The Kim Jacobs Show, subscribe and turn on your notifications. And I did put a clip in here from a YouTube thing that I did when I was giving a reaction to the Jacob Blake shooting. So I was very emotional, and a lot of comments have flooded in, lots of judgment of, oh, you with your professional victimism, woman, and all of this stuff. People have attacked me. And guess what? You have the right to say whatever you want. My opinion was my opinion, and I shared it, and I don't change it. And equally, each of their opinions, I left them on there because people are entitled to their opinions. I didn't delete comments or anything like that. So feel free to go and check out that YouTube link right here, where it's right here in the comments section. And it's when I did the Jacob Blake reaction when I first saw it, the night that it was put up. Also, yeah, people said, Sean, you are completely speaking the truth. 100% we support you. So it's some back office stuff going on back here. People are commenting.
Back up.
Yes, everybody loves it. Please come on any Freestyle Friday. Let me also share a way for you to support the Kim Jacobs Show. If you have not supported the Kim Jacobs Show, you can send any kind of cash donation through Cash App at Kim Jacobs Inc. If you like all of the shows and things that's happening, I have to have support team and people that help me. Please send a Cash App at Kim Jacobs Inc. And thank you for your partnership in that regard to keep the show going. Also, you can also become a Patreon member. A Patreon member is a member that pays $12 a month. Sean, you're a Patreon member. Yay. And it's after party content. How do you feel about the whole after party, after show stuff?
I love it because, y'all, Kim is big on that disclaimer. But when we are in Patreon in our little group, there's no disclaimer. The gloves are off. And I think that that's refreshing. So join, pay that $12, give up that Frappuccino for a week, and boom, your money is paid.
Yeah, the Patreon page is different. It's exclusive content that's only revealed to the Patreon members. So you can go back there and join in on the Patreon page. Let's see. They really do a thorough background check to make sure that the police are not a part of the KKK. Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
I wanted to talk about that because, it grieves my spirit deeply when people say that Obama didn't do much for Black people. One thing that you need to understand is that everybody who's out there making moves is not publicizing it on a billboard, and that's not who he was. But many of the things that he attempted to do, you have to remember, we have checks and balances. So he is the president, but you also have the legislature. And at that time, if I'm not mistaken, the House and the Senate were controlled by Republicans. So there was not a whole lot that he could do without ruling by executive order. And my point going there is that he he put together a database so that we could find out how many police involved shootings are going on every year. But even that was flawed because it was only police involved shootings. Well, let's look at Eric Garner. He wasn't shot, he was choked to death. Let's look at George Floyd, the same thing. So you're not able to capture. And this is by design. And this is the part that we don't get. And it's not a Black thing. People who are woke and who care about other people need to understand that there are systems in place that are set to oppress people so that other people can continue to feel empowered. And
that's in society, that's in life, and that does happen. And so anybody that we find that's in situations like that need to be justly brought to justice because it's inappropriate behavior. And I agree.
But here's the thing. You can't bring people to justice. And I believe that this is where a lot of Black people get frustrated, because when you take the mask off of the system, it was all designed to keep people oppressed. When you talk about law and order and justice being blind, justice is not blind. Justice sees plenty, because
I agree.
The lawyers all have to go back to that particular courtroom, and they're not going to go so vociferously on your behalf when I know I have 15 other cases that have to be in front of that judge and judges talk. How in the world is justice blind? It's not. And that is what is frustrating to people, because how do you get a fair shake? How does that happen? Especially for people of color, but specifically Black people. And so
I agree with you. I understand what you're saying.
It's a lot.
Well, okay. So, I mean, it is a lot, and trying to cram it all into 1 hour Freestyle Friday is a lot to digest, but it's something that we need to quickly be able to digest. And I do agree. And so I agree that at the end of the day, again, this is, when I say I agree, I'm saying Kim as a person, I agree with the fact that we need to find a solution so that Black lives are not continuing to be stripped away from them, from their family members, and not be able to go home because they had an encounter with the police officer. That is unacceptable.
Because every person wants to make it home.
And everybody
wants to make it home. When I leave my daughter's school today, I pray that we make it home. You know, that's my prayer every single day. So it's not just somebody who has a dangerous job. I'm going to say this, and I make no apologies. Being Black is dangerous, but I don't have a choice. Like the lady, the Professor Jennifer Krug, who was faking the funk and acting like she was Black and wanting to take other Black people, other Black female academics to task about not being Black enough. Y'all, what is going on? Everybody wants to be Black until you got to be Black.
No, yeah. People don't just be like, ooh. But I can tell you this: I'm proud to be a Black woman. I'm honored, and I'm very grateful for who God created me to be. And I want our world to be more peaceful, more kind to each other, to be more compassionate, and do unto others as we would have done unto us. And I think that if we just all embrace that theory, that I wouldn't want anybody to kill anybody, Black, white, or Latino, no, Asian, nobody. I don't want anybody to kill anybody. So if we could just embrace the theory that I want all lives to be important, and no, all lives are not important if Black lives are not important. So you cannot say that all lives matter if Black lives don't matter in certain instances. That's all. Okay, so let me go to my. I need to go to my sponsor. Let me take that. I don't do that. Wait a minute. Stay there, Sean. Sean is my best friend, everybody. So just keep in mind that if I'm talking to her, like, if Chick, stay there, hold on, wait, it's because she's my best friend.
All good.
We're not going to have hopefully any issues later with it. Okay. Let me share today's episode sponsor. And that is, let me put that up here. Let me tell you in advance though, today's episode sponsor is startmytruckingcompany.com. And the startmytruckingcompany.com, before I go to their website, is a way for you to officially go start a trucking business, kind of like a turnkey trucking system in a box. And they teach you from A to Z how to do that. If you're interested in being able to start your own trucking company, especially with all that's happening during COVID-19, people are looking for ways to earn income and to start a business, a sustainable business. You can email me, Kim at thebalancedoctor.tv, and I will connect you directly with the owner. Let me take you to their site. And if you are interested in becoming a sponsor of the Kim Jacobs Show yourself, then make sure you also email me and tell me, and I'll make sure that you get your commercial out. It's Start My Trucking Company, which is moving in a box. Your phone number is 214-699-5009. Info at startmytruckingcompany.com. They'll teach you how to have a business plan with your trucking company, how to have international trucking routes, as well as you'll learn a lot more about how to conduct business as a truck owner. Now, the actual CEO started his trucking company over 30 years ago with industry experience and has all types of expertise in how to operate and own a trucking business. So make sure you guys know that Start My Trucking Company is a viable option for you. And please let them know that Kim Jacobs sent you. Okay, let me also tell you about another option of something that's happening here. This is a One Funnel Away challenge that's taking place starting on September 7th. Many people ask me about how to develop landing pages, how to get these click funnels and things that happen. Well, there's a next One Funnel Away challenge that starts on September 7th. You can register up until September 6th at 10 o'clock p.m. And I'll put the link in there for you. And it's the life you want, the marriage you want, the family is going to be fueled by the business that you build. There's a video in this link and you can watch that. And what does it mean to be a one funnel away? What it's saying is that, for everyone it's different. For some, you're in a job that you hate. For others, you're an entrepreneur with your own company, but you're stuck and you're not sure what to do. This funnel system is going to teach you how to be able to properly build funnels, click funnels for your business, so you have a better reach. You're able to impact people and have better success. So make sure you know that you can join the Click Funnel Challenge, which is only $100 to join, and it's going to be a great opportunity. All you pay is $100 to be a part of this challenge, which is One Funnel Away challenge. It's 30 days of videos, 30 days of coaching, all kinds of stuff, you name it. Go look at the link, and the challenge begins on September 7th. So if you want to accept the challenge, you'll be able to do that as well. All right, because I have to get those few things in and let you know that. And the link for the Click Funnel Challenge, I'll put that right here as well. A lot of my one pagers that people ask me about, this is where I get my materials from, is from ClickFunnels. And this is how you register. And it's real simple, easy for you to be able to develop a one-page thing that's turnkey and it's very professional. And this is how you can register if you're interested. Let's see, some other comments came in. Yes, Kim, we need more love in our country and in our world. We must have leadership who believes in love for all people. And CM Hilliard, okay. All right, so I don't want to end without saying coronavirus, we know, is up to 6 million cases in the United States, 185,000, actually 186,000 or so deaths in the United States at this point. And in the last 7 days, it's been 288,357 new cases of coronavirus. And there is a race for a vaccine. So the race for the vaccine is 4 front runners. The companies are Moderna, AstraZeneca, Casino, and Pfizer are all working to get some type of vaccine. But now we know that there's controversy as to whether the vaccine will be ready towards the end of October or towards the beginning of next year. Thoughts, Sean?
Yes, I have 3 quick thoughts. I think they haven't done their due diligence with this vaccine. If it were me, when it is me and they ask or they want you to do it, we're not doing it. Whether it's ready in October, November, or December, you haven't had enough time. Number 2, there is a push to have more Black people involved in the trials because they want to know what the impact is. And whenever you're getting a drug out there, you have to test it on a variety of demographics so that your black box information is as accurate as possible. But still, there's not the acknowledgement of what happened with the Tuskegee experiment and not disclosing the impact of the drugs that they were giving to these men that caused syphilis, blinded men, killed men. Black people haven't forgotten about that yet. Dillard University and Xavier
Oh yeah,
University
no.
just released a letter encouraging students, just talking to the students about participation. And I
Right.
feel that that's very rude and underhanded, because anytime you have teen in your age, you are still a child. And if
Yeah.
you are at at those colleges or universities, I'm going to say about 70 to 75% of students are dependents, which means you still rely on your parents' information. And so your parents should be involved in this conversation. Don't
Must
try to
be.
get these kids to participate in trials and you have not talked to their parents. That's not cool. That's not anything that we should be doing in the Black community. And it furthers the mistrust. The last
I
thing I
agree.
want to say with the coronavirus, and I guess I just want to talk about it from a prophetic sense, and Kim, you and I talked, I think that people need to continue being diligent and being ready.
Yes.
You still need to get your toilet tissue. You still need to have your toiletries. You need to have your canned goods. You need to start stocking up on things that will build your immune system,
I
because the
agree.
fall is coming along with corona. And there's going to come a time where, you remember back in early March and April, where the shelves were bare. This is going to happen again.
That's right.
And if people aren't prepared, and I mean, even preparing those around us, you were talking at the top of the hour about a young man who was facing eviction or is being evicted. We're going to see more of this. We're going to see more sickness. And what has to happen is those of us who have, not only financially, but have the intellect, we've got to prepare each other. So I'm saying to you today, prepare, prepare, prepare.
Yeah,
Stay
that's good
ready.
feedback. Good feedback, Sean. And I agree. Everybody needs to be prepared, especially while the supplies are plentiful in the stores. Make sure you go and grab what you need for you and your family. Again, I mentioned earlier at the top of the hour as well that, well, I didn't say this particular piece, but 40 million Americans are facing evictions due to COVID-19. And one of the guests that was on my show is actually facing eviction, him and his family. I wasn't sure if he was going to pop on or not, but it is a professional person that works a job, but some things have, went south during the coronavirus time with his employment and with his job. And so they are facing eviction as a family. And I would love for the Kim Jacobs show to be able to get some type of funds over to help them in their situation. So if you cash app Kim Jacobs Inc. and put eviction, and I will reveal ultimately who it was. And once I'm not gonna no need to reveal anything, and nobody ain't giving a dollar to help, but I will reveal who it is, and at some point as well, because your funds will have gone to that person to help. So if you're interested in helping this family that's facing eviction, I think it's September 16th, I think is what he said. So it's coming up quickly, and I would love for us to be able to support in some regard. If you cash app and type eviction, I will let you all know how much was raised and who it went to. If I don't get any funds towards it, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Okay.
Let me
Go ahead,
ask
Sean.
this, Kim, and maybe it'll help some people, because when you're facing eviction, there's an amount that you have to pay to cure. That means that's the amount that it's going to take to stop the eviction. What is that amount?
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to find out right now because I
Yeah.
really.
And while you're finding out, I mean, I think this is so serious. I'm going to donate. I have been a person. This is a moment to just be transparent. We have faced that. It is not comfortable. I don't care what you look like on the outside. You never know what challenges people are facing. So don't think it can't happen to you. Most Americans are 1 to 2 paychecks away from being homeless. And that was the stat before coronavirus. Now that figure is probably even less. And so if we have it in our ability to do, I'm going to pitch in as soon as we get off the phone. I'm going to hit you with $50 because that's what I have right now.
Yes,
I'm
any
asking
amount helps.
every
Any
person
amount
right
helps.
now, if you will meet me with that challenge or beat me, $50, y'all. We gotta do something to help each other out, because we're looking for everybody else to do it, and this is it. we got to stir up with ourselves. I mean, you know, we say we don't have it.
Oh, I'm on the Facebook live with all my show guests, and I need to know the dollar amount that you need because I'm putting out a plea, but I don't know what the amount is. 11,000. Okay. So 11,000. 11,000. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. It's 11,000 is needed. And so if there is anything, whatever we get, I will submit it to him. And just so you know who it is, I am going to go ahead and say it because I think that that would make a difference too for you all. It's a young man that came on my show that was Mark Anthony Storm, the trucking guy. He's a professional trucker, transformed from Wall Street to becoming a professional trucker, and him and his family are facing eviction. I have his permission to share that with you all. And so it's a real situation. He drives every day for a living, but he is in a unforeseen situation. And I definitely will make sure that we recommend the crisis assistance as well. So thank you so much, Justine. But if you all know of angel investors, people that want to work, philanthropists that say, you know what, I have a situation, I can help with that situation, please make sure you get them to me. Kim is already said everything. I think it's Kim Jacobs Inc. and put eviction, or you can do paypal.me /Kim Jacobs Inc. And I will be providing all of those funds and put eviction on the PayPal link, and I'll provide all of those funds to their family. Okay. And I mean, people get on and do commercials and things all the time around the world, around third world countries, and pleas for animals and everything. And I mean, that's very important too. I've been an owner of a Labradoodle for 13 years. So the pleas for animals are important, but the pleas also for human beings that are being evicted during coronavirus. With 40 million Americans are facing eviction due to COVID-19. And people want to know how they can help. So I'm giving you a way that you can help one family that's in need of $11,000. And all of it, whatever you give, is going to them. I will tell you, in Houston, they have a GoFundMe set up for, it was in Houston, it was a big thing happening with families that were being removed, and I was seeing that. So GoFundMe.com and donations, they said those evicted due to the pandemic is where they're collecting funds for the Houston families as well. I did see that online. And just a couple of celebrity things I want to let you know. Robert Pattinson tested positive for COVID, so they've been halting the Batman filming. He's a big Batman. Okay. And Kim Kardashian gets skimpy for Skims. She's on the side of a huge billboard on the Sunset Strip in West Hollywood, modeling her new sexy Skims collection. I was like, whoa, that'll make somebody wreck. That'll make you wreck. Okay, y'all, we're gonna get ready to get off of this thing. But Prince Harry and Meghan Markle inked their $100 million Netflix deal, and they signed a multi-year streaming contract to create documentaries and script shows and more. So keep that in mind. Tyler Perry is officially a billionaire. So, all right, that. I was like, I got to tell y'all that. And then The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, said that him and his family, immediate family, contracted coronavirus. And here are some of the things that he shared on his Instagram post. Boost your immune system. Stay disciplined. Commit to wellness. Wear your mask. Protect your family. Be strict about having people over your house and gatherings. Stay positive and care for your fellow human beings. And I think I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end on, oh yeah, I thought this would be a good thing to say. Everyone salutes Chadwick Boseman, and we know that he pressed forward while battling stage 3 that progressed to stage 4 colon cancer, which ultimately caused him to be able to transition home. But he played King T'Challa and the Black Panther. We know he played Jackie Robinson, 42. He's played James Brown. He's played so many memorable characters. And a lot of it was happening during the time he played in 21 Bridges, Thurgood Marshall. He played in so many things, A Message from the King. But the point is, he was doing all of this stuff, a lot of it while he was battling cancer, colon cancer. The thing I think that stood out the most to me is that not one person on his team revealed that he had cancer. I never knew that. It wasn't revealed to the public, his story. It wasn't revealed until after he passed away, his that he was living with this life-threatening disease. Even though we hear people say it could have been reversed and all kinds of things, we don't know to what extent his was. So I just want to thank God for his life and his legacy. Several petitions are being circulated right now to replace the Confederate statue in Anderson, South Carolina, which is Boseman's hometown, to commemorate the movie star's 4-year battle with colon cancer. So, as heartbreaking as his death was and the announcement that happened, it was the most tweeted tweet ever when Chadwick Boseman passed away. So, I will end today's show. Sean, you have any final comment and thought on Chadwick Boseman? Anybody?
Besides Wakanda forever, I definitely want to say that it's okay to not know what's going on in somebody's life, because if knowing somebody's trial makes you treat them differently, then I question your motives from the get-go. People say, oh, we should have known, we had to know. You didn't know to support him. You didn't have to know you don't have to know what somebody's going through to treat people well. Every single person on this planet is battling something. And if we will all dig in to treat each other well, if we will all dig in to die empty, like I believe that man did, it'll be a beautiful thing. So I'm leaving you with Wakanda forever.
I'm excited. Okay. I have one more announcement, and then I'm going to go ahead and have K-Walk. Okay, on September 26th. Let me make sure I let you all know how you can. We're about to get off, everybody, but I want to make sure you know that every year we have a 5K walk in honor of my baby, Gabriel Michael Jacobs, and we have a 5K walk this year. It's the 5th annual walk, and it's in honor of being able to raise funds to be able to do what we call Doing It Gabe's Way Random Acts of Kindness for a full week. We go out and we do random acts of kindness, give gas, groceries, food, uniforms, water, juice, clothing, you name it, to homeless shelters everywhere. We just go and take care of the community. And with the pandemic hitting this year so hard, I cannot wait to go and do it Gabe's way with the random acts of kindness. But I want you to register. Let me share with you how you can do that, and I'll take you right to the page. And then we're going to get ready to end today's show. You can go right to Gabe's Heart Foundation, Gabe'sHeartFoundation.org. And right where it says register now, we're having a virtual walk. The walk this year can be done anywhere, no matter where you are in the country. And all you have to do is click register here. And this year, when you register, you can register for any dollar amount that you want. It's 8 a.m. But if you'd like to get a t-shirt, it's $20. And if you'd like to get a youth t-shirt, it's $15. The masks are $15. And this is what they pretty much look like. It's not the exact colors, but the mask will have the Gabe's Heart logo, and the t-shirt will have sponsors on the back, as well as the 5K walk logo on the front. So I encourage you, if you are interested and joining in on the walk, you'll get a Zoom link, and you can be a part of this year's Gabe's Heart Foundation 5K walk. If you want to be a sponsor, click donate now right here and put your donation amount and send me your logo. That way you can go ahead and get added to the back of this t-shirt. Woo! Okay. Lots that we've talked about today. I see a lot more comments coming in. Yes, Gabe's Way. We're going to definitely do it Gabe's Way. So register. Miss Sean, thank you. You were great. And Miss Justine says also, she says she also feeds the homeless every weekend. So make sure, if you want to contribute to her organization, it's Justine Hilliard, $ Justine Hilliard, and we ask for $5 donations. And I'll be sending you a donation, Justine Hilliard, as well. Okay. All right, guys, I think we've covered a lot. Remember, you're a smart young man. My grandson was in his class. Can't wait to be a part of the walk this year. Our prayers are with you always. Doing it Gabe's way, everybody. Go register for the 5K walk. Go to Gabe's Heart
Register.
Foundation.
Listen, don't cheat my friend. Don't cheat my sister because it's pay what you want to pay. Do it big because this woman, this is good ground. She gives until it hurts in honor of her son because that's who Gabe was. So we have no excuse to not walk. Get your sneaks laced up. Donate your money. Hey, and if you're going to do this and get a shirt, make sure you're doing that ASAP because the post office is a little slow, guys. So we want you to get your shirts in time, which means you got to order in time and order for some other people. You know, encourage them to go out and walk because we need to get our bodies moving anyway. And this is for a fantastic cause.
Okay, guys, we're going to disconnect. I'm trying to type and do all kind of stuff at the same time. But there you have it. Thank you guys for tuning into today's episode. Monday, there won't be an episode, but guess what? You can go and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show on YouTube. Go do that on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday with Dr. Jessica Mosley, and we have a great guest lineup for next week. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, my bestie, for coming on. Thank you, Shannon, back